Welcome back to another video. Today I want to share with you a very simple way to basically roast and grind and store your own flax seeds. Now flax seeds, there are two varieties, brown or yellow or gold. Now the recommended one is the brown version. Now flax seeds are basically one of the very economical food that you can easily add to your daily diet to significantly improve your health. Now why? Because it's actually one of the richest sources of plant omega-3 fatty acids. You may have heard of omega-3 fatty acids like from fish sources like DHA and EPA. There's also a third variety, which is ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, which comes from plant sources. Now and flax seeds is one of the richest sources of natural ALA out there, and because flax seeds are how do you say mass produced, it's readily available and fairly low cost compared to fish oils. So when we add just a tablespoon of this daily to our diet, it will significantly improve our health. So now you can go out and buy any version where you can get flax seeds. Of course, people would recommend if you get a organic one, but most flax seeds will just have the same amount of omega-3. Alright, so this is a small pack of 250 grams. A tablespoon a day would be like 8 grams, 7 to 8 grams. So this would like last at least 2 months, I'd say. Okay, so what do? Basically, you open up the pack. You just like show you. These are brown flax seeds. Now the reason why we basically want to roast this a little bit and then grind it is because we want to make sure, like because we are not going to cook this, right? We're just going to consume this. Like you can add to your milk or your cereal. We want to get rid of any mold or any bacteria if there are any. And the reason why we grind this because the shell, the hull, is actually very tough, and if you don't grind it, there is limited absorption that happens. So we basically get a pot. Metal pot is best. Without non-stick is best, right? So we'll just dip all of this inside. Okay, so I've got most of it. Keep that aside. So we're just going to dry roast this. We do not add any oil or any salt or sugar. Just dry roast this. Okay, so I'm just going to turn a little bit to my stove. Now we want to roast it in the smallest amount of fire. Just slow roast like this. Okay, let me just see if I can turn this a little bit more, and then we can see if I can zoom right in. Okay, so those are the flax seeds. Now what we want to do is throughout the roasting process, we'll just like shake this, or you can just use a ladle or a spatula to move that around. I'm just going to turn down the heat a little bit more. Okay. Now, how do you know when this is ready? You'll start hearing the seeds cracking because the inside is actually expanding and actually breaking through the hull. Make sure you don't burn this, so you got to like keep moving it around. So like this, right? So we move the bottom layer up to the top. So I'm just go ahead and roast this, and then I'll come back when it'll take a few minutes before it starts cracking, because that's quite a bit of amount. If after a few minutes and you feel like this is too hot and it still doesn't crack, it doesn't matter. So if you feel like the seeds, you don't hear any seeds cracking, it does not matter because we're going to grind this anyway. The most important thing is that we should not burn the seeds. So I think this is sufficiently hot. Yep, okay, so this is like really hot right now. Okay, now before we grind it, we need to let it cool. So because the pan is still really hot, we'll continue to move it around so that the bottom layer doesn't burn. Okay, so once it's cooled down, I'll come back and we'll grind this. I've left this for about half an hour, so it's cooled down. So now we're gonna just use any food grinder that you have. I think the recommendation is that you don't grind too much at one time so that you can make it a fine powder. Let me just see if I can dip some of this across to make sure I don't spill. I think I'm going to do half for the amount that I have. Just a tiny bit more. Alright, so half is good. Then just see, make sure that my cap is dry. Okay. Let me just readjust the view so you can we can see the grinder. So that's the flaxseeds. Let's see how I can put this thing in. That. So I'll do a pulse. Oh god, okay, that's me. So halfway you may want to give it a bit of a mix, just to make sure that the bottom part gets grinded as well. And hold the lid of your grinder, don't be like me. That's just some extra drama for the video. Okay, this looks really fine now. I'm just gonna move this aside. Okay, it still feels very warm, but that's fine. So that's let me just get some light in here. That's like a fine ground powder. Let me just get a spoon so we can move this around. Okay, so I don't see the physical seeds anymore. This is still a bit warm, so I'm just going to space it apart so that some of the steam can still come out, because this feels a little damp. So after you've ground this, you have to store in an airtight container, and I would recommend that you actually leave it in the fridge and then just use as you need. Okay, so I have got my container. Let's see if I can turn the camera down a little bit. There. Okay, so I'm gonna dip this into the container. Now I promise that usually I'm not so messy. Okay, So I'm just going to leave that aside, and then I'm going to mill the balance of my flax seeds. And I really promise that usually I'm not so messy. So I've got flax seeds all over my table. So I'll grind this, and then I'll come back and we'll make a flaxseed drink that we can drink in the morning. So I've finished grinding the balance of my flax seeds, and I've got like half a canister of this. Now flax seeds actually are very potent with, in the omega-3 ALA acids, so we don't have to use too much of this. We can just have 1 tablespoon per day, and that should be more than sufficient, because we also get omega-3 from other sources as well, especially if we eat fish. This is just a supplement. Okay, so I'm going to clean up, and then we'll come back and make a flaxseed drink for breakfast or anytime. We're going to make a quick flaxseed milk drink. This is good to take during breakfast or tea time. Basically, you have a cup of hot boiling water. So this is just boiled. Not sure if you can see the vapor coming out, but now these are all optional. It's up to you. So I like to basically drink this with milk. So I've got skim milk powder. If you like full cream milk powder, use that. And you can also use hot fresh milk. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of skim milk powder, up to your taste, of course. And then I'm going to add in, okay, that's my skim milk powder. I'm going to add in, again up to your taste, I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. Now we don't recommend more than 1 tablespoon full of flax per day, because you also get other sources of omega-3. So I'm just going to have 2 teaspoons, which is equivalent to like 1 tablespoon. So I'm just going to like stir it up. Now as you stir up this in the hot water, it will start to thicken up. And this is actually a very rich source also of dietary fiber, because the hulls, the cover, the brown color hull of the flaxseed is very high in fiber, and of course a real big source of omega-3 ALA. So there you have it. This is a flaxseed milk drink, or a grounded roasted flaxseed milk drink for breakfast or tea or anytime. Good source of omega-3, plant-based omega-3, and also dietary fiber. So you can try this and enjoy. Alright. Tastes really nutty and a bit chewy and really good. Alright, so you got any questions, you can ask me in the comments below. Don't forget that you got to have an airtight container and store this in the fridge, because if not, the oil will get rancid very quickly. Alright, okay, see you in the next video.